What's up guys, I'm Jeremy from the Marathon Experience and today is day 26 of the 100 days challenge. It's pretty amazing, we just moved into the second quarter of this challenge. I'm super excited and today we're gonna talk about 3 main tips that I'm using every day in order to lose some weight during this challenge. Let's go! In case you don't know, I've made a video about my weight loss goal for this 100 days challenge where I run a 10K every single day. So if you haven't watched it, go ahead and look at the videos. I basically details all of my target during this challenge, and I thought that today I could be sharing some of the tips and some of the main concepts. I call them tips, but actually I should have probably named it concepts in this case because I don't have any very particular method. I'm not gonna say, okay, eat 100 ounces of that or drink 10 ounces of this before you go to bed or all those magic tricks. But those 3 principal concepts, call them as you want, that's what I'm trying to use on an everyday basis in order to keep on losing weight on the long term. So let's dive into concept number 1. This one I call you know what's good for you. And I know it's strange sometimes because there's tons of new diet, new fancy pseudo scientific ways of losing weight and those very incredible like diety stuff, for you those experts in white coats explaining you, oh yeah, you should eat that, but don't touch this or stay away from that. I don't believe in any of that, and most of all, I do think that we all know, at least for like 95% of the thing we eat or drink, we all know if it's good or not for us. If you try to analyze what you're drinking every day, for instance, it's gonna be extremely obvious to see that if you're drinking tea, water, a little bit of coffee, some fresh fruit juice, for instance, they could all be good for you. If you're drinking soda, alcohol, any type of very sweet drinks, all of those, you know that they are bad for you. You already know that. You don't need a fancy diet to tell you that drinking a gallon of Coke every single day is going to be bad for your health. You know that. And same thing goes for food. The more a product is transformed by the food industry, usually the worse it gets because they add all this extra sugar, extra salt, just so that you like it better and then you keep buying those things. And again, that's something that everybody knows already. Like if you go to a grocery shop and you only buy like tomatoes and corn and all those fresh vegetables, mix them into a salad, you know that it's good for you, right? Everybody knows that. On the other side, if you go and take massive amount of chocolates or candy or just go to a fast food takeout, you know that those things are bad for you. There's no need to pay someone for a precise diet to know that. So the first concept is basically to look into a mirror, look what you're eating, and define from your own experience, from what you already know, all the things that you want to keep and all the things that you want to cut out. Second concept, and this one is a little more specific, it's about the consumption of carbs. So carbs and insulin are mainly responsible for getting weight. That's why those keto diets work so well, because when you cut all the carbs, you start losing weight like crazy. I don't personally advocate for them because when you're running, you need a lot of glycogen in your muscle, which is basically the fuel that your muscle needs to keep on going. And this comes mainly from carbs. So I don't advocate for like a completely carb-free diet. What I would advocate for is the proportion of the carb you're eating at every meal in the day should be decreasing. You can start with the breakfast that has a quite high amount of carbs, especially if you run in the morning just before that, like you run fast and then you eat something that has some carbs in it. That's why I eat pasta sometime in the morning or rice. Basically, this amount of carb needs to be decreasing. So you should eat less carb at lunch that you eat at breakfast, and if possible, no carb at all in the evening. As I said in the beginning, you know what's good for you, you know what's bad. So try to use your own judgment. It's possible, finish eating 2 hours before you go to bed, so you still have some time to digest and basically use this energy that you've put into your body before you go to sleep, because when you go to sleep, all this energy is going to be stored into fat. Third concept for me is to think long term. I mean, it's pretty obvious what I'm doing. It's a 100 days RunStreak challenge. So I give myself basically more than 3 months to see any results. And although it could be sometimes a little bit frustrating not to see any result, because sometimes we're just too impatient and we want to see stuff happening fast, I think the main concept and the main improvement that you can do to your weight loss is to start thinking long term. When you start thinking long term, you're not panicking, you're not changing your mind every single day, changing diet and stopping something, starting something else, or starting to run more or run less. Or weight loss is a long-term process, honestly. And I know there are those crazy videos about how you can lose 1,000 pounds in 5 hours or whatever. But honestly, those are purely marketing, and maybe it will work for some people to do a crazy diet for a few days and then they will drop some pounds. But the thing that works for the majority of people is to take it long term. So no panic, just start planning out how much weight you want to lose in the next month, maybe year, and just start implementing step by step, baby steps if it needs to, just to build up towards your goal. Thinking long term is really going to change your mindset and put you in the position where you can really take the real fundamental action every single day in order to reach that goal. That's it, guys. I hope you liked it. If you did, give me a thumbs up, and also please drop a comment if you have any more tips for the people who try to losing weight with running. And also, if you have already done some pretty impressive weight loss, now is the time to flex in the comment and explain to us your best transformation that you've been through. Or you could go ahead also and post your next target of weight loss for the next days, few months, etc. Regarding the update of the RunStreak, today was day 26. My weight this morning was at 80.6 kilograms, which is the same thing than yesterday, which is pretty normal because yesterday I basically lost 1 kilogram overnight. So it's quite normal that the next day it just stabilized this. Hopefully in the next 2 or 3 days I'll be able to go sub 80 kilograms. Regarding today's run, today was really amazing. We went with Margot on one of our favorite trails in a small town next to where we live. It's partially along the canal, partially in the field. It was a little bit muddy, but we had the sun and the fresh air. It really was amazing. Obviously, when we run trails with a little bit of elevation, it's always slightly slower. That's why the pace is just a little bit slower than usually. But since it's on a trail, we're also involving a lot more muscle for stability and balance. So that's a very good point also in a workout. That's it. And in case you're discovering the channel right now, I'm uploading a video every single day during this 100 days run streak where I run a 10K every single day. So if you want to be part of the journey, go ahead and hit subscribe, hit the notification button, and I'll see you tomorrow.